There's something about the women of the Old West, something we still admire today. They were tough, determined, and willing to break the rules and the law.
Here's a quick look at four incredible women from the Wild West.
Let's dig into this.
You can't mention the Old West without Calamity Jane's name. She's one of the most famous of the wild women of the West. Born Martha J. Canary around 1856, she was a sharpshooter and a scout for the military. She's credited with saving an Army captain from a Native American attack and nursing many residents of her beloved Deadwood, South Dakota during a smallpox epidemic. By the mid 1890s, she was part of Buffalo Bill's Wild West shows.
She could outdrink most men and didn't care about being a lady, wearing men's clothes, spitting tobacco, and cussing. And she was totally in love with Wild Bill Hickok. Before she died in 1903, she claimed they had been married, and her last wish was to be buried next to him in Deadwood, South Dakota. And she was.
Pearl Hart was born in Canada sometime around 1870, and by the time she was 17, she was married to a gambler in America. She met Joe Boot in Arizona on May 30th of 1899. They committed one of the last stagecoach robberies in the Old West, reportedly getting away with around $15,000 in today's money, but they were caught just 6 days later.
Pearl reportedly broke out of the Tucson jail, but was caught again. Found innocent of robbery, but guilty on charges of tampering with U.S. mail. She was sent to the Yuma Territorial Prison, where she became a celebrity. She was given her own cell and yard, and loved to give interviews and have her photo taken. She received a pardon in 1902 and promptly disappeared the moment she walked out of the jail.
Alice Ivers was born in England, raised in Virginia, and ended up in Leadville, Colorado, where she married Frank Duffield at a young age. Frank was a mining engineer who was a pretty good poker player. Alice reportedly liked to stand behind Frank and watch when he played, and apparently, she learned quite a bit by watching.
After Frank died in an explosion, Alice found herself broke, so she started playing poker. And she won. A lot. Reportedly millions in her lifetime. And every time she won, she went to New York and spent it all on beautiful clothes.
She was well liked by saloon owners because she didn't play on Sundays, was respectable, and good for business. Poker Alice became a celebrity with crowds watching her play. She did smoke a cigar, and she liked to count cards and distract fellow players with her good looks and fancy dresses. And she always carried a 38.
She opened her own poker palace, but when a drunk miner started a fight and broke up the furniture, she shot him in the arm. She was acquitted on all charges in the case, but ended up losing her saloon. She would be arrested numerous times for drunkenness and running a brothel over the years, but didn't spend any time in prison. She died February 27, 1930, after complications from gallbladder surgery, and is buried in Sturgis, South Dakota.
Everyone knows Etta Place as the Sundance Kid's wife, but even that may not be true. Her name may have not even been Etta or Place, and there's no evidence they were married. She is probably the most famous woman from the Wild West that we know almost nothing about.
We don't know where or when she was born or what her name was. The Pinkerton Detective Agency would create a file on her in 1906 when they were hunting for her outlaw companions Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. It said she was 27 or 28 years old, 5'4" or 5 inches tall, had classic good looks and medium brown hair, and was said to be from Texas. And those who knew her said she was very well educated and refined.
In the only known instance of her signing her name, she wrote Mrs. Ethel Place. Sundance's mother's maiden name was Place, and he often used the name as an alias. It is claimed she was part of the Wild Bunch band of outlaws out in Utah, but like almost everything about Etta, there's no proof.
We do know Etta, Sundance, and Butch Cassidy went to New York. Etta and Sundance posed for a photographer. The two photos by DeYoung are the only known images of Etta. On February 20th, 1901, the group sailed from New York to Argentina and started a ranch. In March and April of 1902, Etta and Sundance were back in New York to visit family before heading to Denver for medical treatment for unknown causes. The two would return to New York again in 1904, and Pinkerton detectives traced them both to Fort Worth, Texas, and the St. Louis World's Fair, but didn't catch them before they returned to Argentina.
We also know on December 19th, 1904, Butch, Sundance, Etta, and an unknown man robbed a bank west of Buenos Aires. And in June of 1906, Sundance and Etta sailed to San Francisco, and Sundance returned to South America alone. They probably never saw each other again. Etta Place was still in San Francisco in 1907, but then disappeared forever.
The theories on who Etta really was run from a school teacher to a brothel worker. An interesting theory is that Etta was really Ann Bassett, a cattle rustler known to spend time with the Wild Bunch. But Ann Bassett was busy getting married and spending time in jail during the time Etta was known to be in South America.
Some believe she was killed in a shootout in Argentina in 1922, and some believe she died in 1966 of natural causes. There are claims she lived in New York, Texas, California, Colorado, and Oregon, but there is no evidence in any of these claims. The identity and fate of Etta Place may be one of the biggest mysteries of the Old West.
We hope you enjoyed this quick look at some of the Wild West's wild women. Join us for part 2 coming soon, and we'll put a link to our video on Calamity Jane down in the description for you.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Hey, here's another Dragon Den video you might like.
And if you like this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button.
And you can hit the notification bell if you'd like to know when our videos come out.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.